This is the Urban Sports Scene with Ray and Wole, also part of Black Sports Insiders, and we're now joined by a special guest. Morgan State head football coach Damon Wilson is in the building. What's happening, Coach?
Hey, fellas, everything's good, man. Just getting off the field, really excited about the season.
Hey, Coach, it's been a minute since you joined us, and since the last time we had you, the great Jay Walker, he's an HBCU legend, you know, the NFL legend as well. He listed the top 5 most beautiful HBCU campuses in America, and he mentioned Morgan State at number 2 on that list. And I'm not gonna lie, I was hating a little bit as a UMES graduate, but I want to get your perspective. What makes the Morgan State campus so special?
Man, Dr. Wilson and administration has done a great job with our academic facilities and with the upgrades and the new construction. We just renovated several residence halls and opened up another side of the dining facility. I mean, it's top notch, you know. And one thing that our focus is now turned on to the athletic facilities to make sure they match or they mirror the academic facilities, because they are just as important. And that's one thing that attracted me to the job and to the position. And I'm excited to see these things continue to go up. You know, these buildings continue to pop up. That's great for recruiting, and that is great for the university.
Hey, Coach, yeah, go ahead, Ray. I was gonna say, Coach, have you been to UMS campus? Because you know it's pretty dope. I'm just saying.
It's been some years. It's been some years since I've been there, but it's been a long time actually. Mm-hmm. I went during a basketball season at one point, and had a good time on campus, but I haven't been in some years.
Yeah. So, Ray, what you about to say? I feel like I cut you off.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean, it's not a football rivalry, so we can speak friendly to one another at least for now. But getting into football, Coach. Last time I interviewed you, you were talking about how you wanted Morgan State to be recognized as Baltimore's college football team. And to quote you, you said it should be Ravens first in the city, then Bears second. And I just want to get your opinion as to where you feel like you are in that process as far as getting your program to that place.
I think we're getting close. I mean, one of the things that we have to do is beat Towson when we get to that point. You know, Towson is the other FCS program in the backyard, and we're focused on Hampton right now. But the reality is, man, that they win the ball games, then they kind of have rights to the college team in the city, even though they're outside of the city. But at the end of the day, we're both located in Baltimore, and we want to make sure that we represent our university the right way as well as the conference. And Baltimore is a lovely place, man. It's one of those places that we embrace each other, embrace one another, I should say. And when the Ravens were winning last year, you know, everybody was excited. You know, I mean, it was just a good vibe in the community and that sort of thing. And I want to help enhance that experience for our youth and everyone else in the Baltimore city.
Yeah, Coach, you're talking about, you know, the current season, Hampton. We're going to get into that, actually. But so going into the season, your team was placed 3rd in the MEAC in terms of preseason rankings. Do you pay attention to any of that? And does that motivate your squad?
I don't personally pay a lot of attention to it at all. And it's good to know what your peers think about you. That's, you know, the coaches and the SIDs in the conference. They pretty much have the vote for that. I've been in this business long enough now where we've been picked first, we've been picked last before. One thing that you want to do is be talked about in December and late November. That's really when you're doing things the right way. It doesn't matter, like I say, where you start, but it's how you finish. And I think this is a great opportunity to make sure we finish this thing the right way.
All right, Coach, I want to go. Oh, go ahead.
No, go right now. Go ahead.
I want to go back for a second because you mentioned Towson, and your season started off so good last year. Of course, beating Richmond, you pretty much had Akron. You had the figure 4 leg lock, and you let go at the end of that game. And it felt like the next week against Towson that you kind of had a hangover because of that loss. I wonder if you agree with that. Even though you were able to turn it around, you win 3 of your last 4 ball games. You were competitive against the top teams, Central, Howard. How do you carry that momentum? And would you agree that just that Akron game kind of hurt you sort of mid-season last year?
And you hit the nail on the head, man. We let one game beat us twice. And that's one thing we talked about in the staff meeting. It's not to allow that to happen. The way that game was lost, it hurts. It still continues to sting a little bit because there's not a lot of times a FCS program has an opportunity to beat an FBS program. And we were right there. I think we learned a lot from that game. Our team learned a lot from that game. And I think that's something, a reference point that we had towards the end of the season and getting to conference play, which allowed us to come back in the Norfolk game. We were down that Norfolk game, and I think us experiencing that defeat like that at Akron, I think it actually helped our guys and got them to understand that as long as time's on the clock, we have an opportunity. And I think that was it was a growing moment, definitely, for this program.
Well, Coach, like this program has been growing since you got hit there in 2022. I just want to know, man, like basically at the MEAC, you're 500. What is like your secret sauce? You pretty much turned this thing around pretty quickly. What is your secret sauce?
It's not turned around yet. We still have a long way to go. But one of the things that I preach around here is being a family and being accountable for one another, believing in what we're getting done, having respect for people and within the program, and being selfless. Those are some of the things that we talk about here in the program. But I think the guys have brought into that family mindset. You can see it in the classroom where guys' grades are shooting, have shot up. We're looking at roughly around the 3.0 team GPA. It was like a 2.58 when I first got here. So, those things lead to success on the football field. We still have a long way to go. We're not there yet. It starts now. It started in camp with the new guys we added to the program to get those guys going in the right direction and getting them to buy into what we're doing. But the biggest thing I would say, just that whole family mindset and attitude is that we're instilling.
And Coach, you're speaking to some of the new guys you got on this team. In terms of folks who are just watching this show for the first time or just starting to get educated about your program, who are some of these new guys that you're referring to that can help you take your team to the next level?
As far as the newest guys, I would say that people may not know about, even though he's a returner, is KJ, Keith Jenkins. He's a guy that's been in the program, but we're going to do more with Keith. Keith was a defensive player at first. He's kind of new to offense, so we're going to move him around offensively and get some things done with him. We have some Ahmad McCullough on the defensive side of the ball, a linebacker that transferred in. He's a guy that's going to, I think, help us a great deal. Greg Young's another guy defensively that's going to help us. But it all starts up front with the offensive line and defensive line. We were fortunate or unfortunate, however you want to look at it. We had a very young offensive line last year. Those guys are returning, all of those guys together, and we've added a few more pieces to that group. We have one freshman that's really standing out, Blake Scriber from Ohio, that's really had a great camp, and we're looking forward to seeing what he does on the football field.
Now, in terms of returning players, obviously you're going to need them to step up. So for you to achieve the goal to get to the Celebration Bowl and win it, who are some of those players?
It starts with defensively, Elijah Williams, our defensive lineman. Then you have Eric Hunter, you got Carl Decius. Those guys have been kind of mainstays in our defense, and those guys are going to continue to lead the program offensively. I guess you start with a guy like Andre Crawley, who's a wide receiver senior in his senior season, who is definitely a leader on and off the field. And Danny's our starting center. But Taj is the quarterback. Taj is the guy that played some last year. We're coming back with him as a starter. I think he has a ton of potential. Went, I think, 3-1 as a starter last year. And it's about him actually, leading from day one and seeing what he's able to get done at the quarterback position.
Awesome. You're right.
Coach, you beat me to it because I was going to ask about Taj. We know what the Bears bring defensively. I mean, I covered some of your games last year. You had Brandon, Jordan. I mean, them guys, they hit. But offensively, it was like a carousel from a quarterback perspective. So I know you want to have some stability in that position. How confident are you going into this season that Taj is going to be the guy that's going to lead your team?
I feel really good, man. Taj had a pretty good spring. We implemented a new offense. He had a pretty good spring. He's gotten a lot better over the summer as far as being familiar with the system. Deuce is still a guy that's in the program. Dominique is a guy that's in the program. We brought Kobe in. And we signed a local high school guy, Ray, right down the street from Maryville. So all those guys have gotten better over the course of the summer. But Taj, like I said, he's a gamer. He's a guy that, wants the ball in his hands when the game's on the line. He has a better grasp of the offense. I think Coach Wright, our new offensive coordinator, has done a good job with him over this, since he's been here, just developing him and get him not to panic in the pocket, make sure he takes advantage of the things that's there, not force the football, use his legs when the opportunity presents itself. So, I think, once again, I think he's ready to roll, and, we're excited to follow his lead.
And Coach, when you talked about Hampton, we all want Hampton in the MEAC, right? Like we all want them in the MEAC, for real. But, it's a big game, a season opener. Finish the statement for me. Morgan State beats Hampton on the road if
we stop the run and minimize turnovers.
Love it. See, that's that defensive mindset. See, that's real talk. That's tough football.
You have to stop the run. I mean, football is blocking and tackling, but they're a group of guys that believe in running the football, and they have some good backs that can do that, as well as their quarterback is a dual threat guy. So, we have our work cut out for us defensively and offensively. We must eliminate any self-inflicted pre-snap penalties types of deals and turnovers, and that'll give us a shot to win the ball game.
So, Coach, it sounds like you guys are prepared. I know it's been a long summer, as you kind of mentioned beforehand. You said we've been hitting on each other. It's time to go hit somebody else. But I also want to ask a quick question about your preparation. You sort of partnered with Mike Loxley over at University of Maryland to get your guys together for a practice. Just talk about that and how that factored into your preparation for the season and what that does for your recruiting as well.
And Coach and I are really good friends outside of football. We have over 20 years of friendship, and it was a great opportunity to have the city of Baltimore come in and watch the FBS team in the state of Maryland and one of the FCS programs in the state. So it's really good. A lot of times guys can't go down the street, whether it's Pop Warner age students or whatever, can't go see Maryland at practice. So, hey, let's bring them to our backyard, and let's let these students know in this area that you have options where to go to school, and show that it's not a lot of it's some differences without a doubt from FBS to FCS, but with regards to schematics and the things that we're asking for and we're looking for, there are a lot of similarities as well. So, students to be able to see us practice at first and watch Maryland practice second was really a blessing. Our guys did a great job after practice, spending some time with their guys, just building those relationships. And, I think it was a great day for the community. Both of us are Under Armour schools. And, that was a great deal for Under Armour as well, just to have that done here.
Absolutely. Now, you're building your program. You mentioned before you still plan to build it traditionally with high school players, and that's difficult to do. But you've had some success. Guys like, Jordan Toles was just with the Ravens, and you coached prior to, right? That was with the Commanders. Then you coached him.
Yes, sir. Recruited Josh out of high school. Coach Sue, our D coordinator, recruited him. We had him for those 4 years at Bowie before we left and came here, and he's now with the Cincinnati Bengals. And he's done a great job, man. But that's important. We went in recruiting in your backyard.
Yeah, and I want to mention that, the number one pick in the NFL draft was a DMV kid. Try to keep these kids close. Baltimore, DC, we're seeing that you're making that effort. How challenging has that been? And I guess this is the last question is, what's your strategy moving forward? How important is this season in terms of your new recruits and your transfers? I mean, this is one of your years I think you expected to take that step up.
I think it's really important, like I said, to win and recruiting in your backyard. And I think my prior relationships in the community has helped us some here at Morgan. But the biggest thing is we have to get a couple of transfers. That's part of the game now with the recruits. So we have a good number of underclassmen that we have to continue to develop, but we need to sprinkle in some more transfers, and we'll do that this year in recruiting. But all in all, I think the foundation has to be from our backyard, and that's exactly what we'll continue to do.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, we appreciate you joining us. The world is seeing this. We got to represent the MEAC for real on the big stage. Yeah. And if you make the Celebration Bowl, you gotta beat the SWAC. Gotta beat
the SWAC for real.
Hey, let me get to Hampton first, man. Good guys.
Hampton first.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Great season.
You got it.
Great season.